So Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is probably one of the most important games in the last 6 years. There has been so much that has gone on. Many other video games have been released, but many may not necessarily claim that this is one of the most important games. But I'll go through a few things and kind of indulge you in why I think this is the case. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. Today we're going to be taking a little shift in direction from our regular coverage of Gotham Knights and DC games to tap into the news about Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, where now it appears that there is a second game in that same vein that's being produced and developed by the studio. Now, this is not something that I did not know. In fact, very honestly, I've been following the combat designer of that game on Twitter for a long time. He's actually very, very interesting in the way he provides a lot of details about combat design in terms of game development. So some of my own little interests have kind of dragged me over there, and I actually follow his blog where he has posted a lot of different blog articles about tips and tricks on how you as a game designer can design your own combat system. And he's also designed all kinds of different techniques that you can basically explore if that is the case. But that's not necessarily what we're discussing today. I guess I better stay on track with the topic, and that is Jedi Fallen Order. Now, if any of you may remember, there was a time when EA came out with a statement after having canceled a Star Wars game from one of their studios. This Star Wars game was actually a single player game, and when a lot of the community went out and said, hey, EA, why did you guys go ahead and cancel a single player Star Wars game by this studio, which was being headed by Amy Hennig? For those of you who know who Amy Hennig is, she's actually one of the writers, or one of the main writers, that actually helped to ship the Uncharted games 1, 2, and 3, and then also some other really landmark games back in the past. And EA came out with this statement saying that they believed that many times they felt that gamers did not necessarily respond from their internal testing to a lot of single player games, that players wanted more experiences that they could return to. Basically saying single player games are not necessarily what players want. It appears that players want something else, hence their own excuse to make a lot of these continual live service games in terms of monetization. Many of you who may have dealt with any EA product of this nature understands what I'm talking about. Playing FIFA, playing NHL, or playing Madden, you know that this is basically a kind of, I would say, substance that they're trying to create from nothing in order for them to create monetizable games that would enrich their pocket. FIFA has made them drunk on this kind of model, so they think that they can continue to do it. Well, it didn't work for them in Star Wars Battlefront 2 in 2017, where they had to go back and restructure their game because a lot of people pretty much threw that game out. But nonetheless, after they had made this statement, about a year later, Vin Zampella, who is basically one of the top brass at EA and the head of Respawn Studios, gave a small teaser that Respawn was working on a video game, and he actually mentioned the title of the game. He said the game is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and everyone in the audience kind of went, ooh.
So the Star Wars name is Jedi Fallen Order.
Woo! So Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Because people didn't really know what was going on, and nobody expected that a very short tease of that kind was going to be made in an event, and many Star Wars fans were not necessarily even looking or dialed into this particular event. Years down the road, more and more started to go on, and it appeared that this particular game seemed to be something that was taking a lot of shape, and then eventually we got to see the game at some of the events, and everybody kind of said to themselves, it appears this is something that's interesting. And what's actually even much more funny was this game was antithetical to what EA had told their own community in terms of single player games. EA, with one part of their mouth, said they didn't think these experiences were what players wanted, and then from the other side of their mouth or hand, they were sponsoring and fostering the development of a single player game in the Star Wars universe. I hope you can see the irony. I hope you can pretty much take whatever it is that they say with a huge grain of salt, because at the end of the day, this game happened to be a phenomenal game. And so in their work right now in making a second game, it's actually quite important, because not only is this second game kind of a following or a sequel to their first game, it also is coming after the announcement that EA no longer holds the right to exclusively make Star Wars games had actually gone on circulated out there, and also with the fact that Ubisoft has also announced their intention to make a Star Wars game. So what's going on? The competition has stiffened. right now I think we're going to be seeing, in my opinion anyways, a lot more quality of Star Wars games. Yes, we're going to get a barrage of them. Nonetheless, there are some arena Star Wars games that I couldn't care at all for. The Skywalker Saga game under the Lego banner looks really good and seems to have a lot of depth to me from what they've showcased. And I think that game is actually going to set the tone, even though it may not be for a wide audience. It will set the tone for what the expectations are on every demographics that the Star Wars games are trying to reach. So Jedi Fallen Order right now, and this announcement is a big deal in the single player games world. And yes, even though there may be a barrage and there may be a huge amount of press covering a lot of other games, and even though we may not see the second Jedi Fallen Order game, at least for the very first time, or maybe we may get a teaser this year at E3 if it's available, or if it's actually happening, or maybe we may get some kind of a reveal, I think what we're going to be getting is more than likely going to follow through with the quality that the first game actually did follow through with. And at the end of the day, it's something that is a product that we can enjoy. So I want you guys to basically tap in the comment section and just let me know if you actually have any kind of idea as to what this game you think will be about. I'm an avid fan of the Star Wars universe in some sense. There are segments of the Star Wars universe that I do like and some I couldn't care about, but it's broad enough that if you actually follow through the different stories, there are appealing plots, there are appealing characters, and I think the plot and the characters within the Jedi Fallen Order narrative is quite appealing to me. I have actually completed that game about 3 times, and I'm close to 100% of the game on PC, but I just cannot find some of the different hidden aspects, and I don't want to look them up. I'm being proud in a sense. I guess I should just, give in and ask for help so that I can 100% complete the game. But we'll continue this conversation regarding this game. We'll create a whole segment for it. I appreciate you guys so much for watching the video. If you're new here, stay tuned, and hopefully we'll talk very soon. Peace out.